Hello, everyone, and welcome to MIT Designeering Series, a weekly podcast where we feature leading professionals from the domains of design, technology, business, and innovation. We talk to them about their experience, views on the latest industry trends, designeering, and a lot more. You can connect with us on our Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter handles to get regular updates regarding our new episodes. And without further ado, let's start with your show.
Having a design mindset can make all the difference in a rapidly changing market where problems are getting exponentially complex and interconnected. Every designer aims to impact the users by delivering complete and resilient solutions based on a firm design strategy. However, understanding user needs with a design mindset is crucial to create innovative experiences that can resonate with them. So, how can designers create innovative, resilient, ethical, and experiential solutions? To learn more about this concept and many more related topics, we interact with the founder and chief design officer at Wolffkraft Design Studio, Mohit Yadav. Wolffkraft is an experienced strategy and product design studio serving customers globally in domains like healthcare, travel, fintech, complex enterprise products, and emerging technologies. They assist businesses to identify opportunities for action, redefine how problems are approached, and help deliver complete resilient solutions. So let's get in conversation with Mohit on our episode for supporting the Startup Design Studio of September. Hello, Mohit. Welcome to MIT Designeering Series.
Hey Rohit, good to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Super. So, as my first question on this first conversation with you, Mohit, tell us about Wolfcraft Strategy and Design Studio. What solutions do you assist your customers with, and how did it all start for you?
Sure, Rohit. So Wolffkraft is a product and experience design studio primarily. We help startups and large corporations leverage the power of design to craft experiences that generate value for the businesses and their end users. In the last 5 years, the team at Wolffkraft has delivered high quality design solutions for many new age startups and large organizations. These includes strategic and UX interventions on various complex enterprise solutions, direct to consumer applications, large platforms, communities, and more. Majorly, we have our expertise into four areas that is investigate, innovate, disrupt, and inspire. And as the name suggests, that they are self-explanatory. But investigate is where we bring quality insights on the users and scenarios, etc. In innovate, where we try to help businesses leverage design to come up with innovative solutions in their respective domains. In disrupt, we leverage design to rethink and come up with new age ideas to relook at how things are done today and try to help them disrupt business models and user facing solutions, etc. And inspire is my favorite one, where you use designs to create something that inspires the audience or the newer generation, where you could be a leader in a space, or it could be a new way of doing business, new way of engaging customers, or really making a statement, so basically peeking into the future.
Wow, Mohit, this sounds interesting and exciting, and I'm sure that it must be a really exciting journey for you, your team members, as well as your customers.
Yes, indeed, Rohit. I think we had a very interesting 5 years behind us, where we largely worked with many different shapes and size of organizations and very diverse projects. So yes, certainly.
Super. What I also want to know from you, Mohit, while there are so many design strategy and user experience companies, what is the different niche that you are addressing?
Okay, so we are already living in an experience economy, and there are very few brands leveraging this fact, or are aware that we are moving in this direction. Our focus is to help brands transition from the service economy to the new age experience economy, and also a lot of companies try to offer more and more to their consumers. And by more, I mean a lot of differentiated modular offerings. For example, design with technology, design with digital marketing, design with branding, etc. Because of that, most of the times design takes a backseat and design becomes a commodity, or at best it becomes a stage in a process. Our niche is offering only design services, and that allows us to operate at a strategic level where we are very focused, we go deep, and our team is super critical of the application of design towards that business. Because of this, we are able to craft an actual experience for an offering, and our customers see a very, very well differentiated value for their businesses, using design.
What inspired you to start Wolffkraft? You were working with leading corporate companies and now on an entrepreneurial journey. What's the story there? Why this hustle as an entrepreneur? You were enjoying your corporate stint successfully.
Yes, Rohit, I was certainly enjoying it, and I worked and designed for many studios in India and large corporations on the likes of Sony and Procter and Gamble. I worked in San Francisco for a good amount of time, and I really saw a lot of things when it comes to design. Uh, in my last decade of designing, I never feel that I had a work life balance crisis, because design isn't work for me, but it's a daily behavior. It's in everything that I do. And that's where it begins. So I did some good work with great teams. I don't want to sound like a pessimist, but my main motivator was to walk the talk when it comes to, to when I say that I'm a designer. My dissatisfaction towards how designers are versus how they should be, and how design is being executed, was one of the main reasons that led to the existence of Wolffkraft. I felt, and I still do, that the way world is moving ahead, getting exponentially complex and interconnected, we need a very different breed of designers to create innovative, resilient, ethical, and experiential solutions. We need a breed that doesn't create more problems while they solve for one problem, and hence Wolffcraft. So my importance towards how we design things, and most importantly a mindset towards being a designer, led me to start Wolffcraft.
Wow, that's interesting, Mohit. In fact, one of the next questions that I'm intrigued to ask you is actually looking at this from the customer's perspective, and you touched upon this just right now. So while building these solutions that you are working on, which are so systematically actually defined in verticals that you spoke to us about in the last episode, how do you differentiate your offering from other design companies out there? So how, can you help? Let's take an example that if one of your potential customers is listening to this episode right now, how would you help them understand of how do you deliver the services different as compared to anyone else out there?
Yes, right. So I think the biggest differentiator for Wolffcraft is the design mindset. A design team with a very unique attitude towards solving problems using design. You will agree that a design team in any organization is as good as the designers, specifically in service industry. So most service companies focus on scale and have limited focus on improving the quality of the designers that they have on board. And sadly, most organizations also label designers simply as resources who rarely get a chance to be more than just being a pair of hands. Uh, Having said that, we bring high quality minds, custom process oriented resilient team that works on certain principles to come up to solutions rather than following a die cut process. There are two parties in this whole business, a designer and the way in which something is designed, and Wolffcraft is here to disrupt both. That is how I'll put it.
Indeed, and I agree to Mohit. In fact, while I was actually scanning through the Wolffcraft website, you can so systematically see the various services offering that are there, which are very well distinguished, which demonstrates their focus areas on each of them, and the depth in which they actually go out and assess their customers. So, Mohit, we would like you to share some of the work that you've executed for your clients till date. Maybe you may not be able to name them, but could you get into snippets of few customers who came with you with certain set of problems, and you actually with your team, your design expertise, created some amazing solutions for them? So can you take us through quick about 2 to 3 case studies or even more?
Sure, Rohit. I'll let me briefly touch upon some interesting projects that we did, and I believe our team has done some terrific work, and most importantly, the diversity of the work. We designed experiences and technology, driven products from the slums of Dharavi to the most cutting edge technologies like machine learning and AI solutions in the Silicon Valley. Designing for non-tech savvy population in rural and tier 2 tier 3 cities of India, and also highly tech savvy population in metro cities around the globe. So let me point out few interesting projects top of my mind. There's one that we did for one of the India's largest newspaper. We took decades old ad booking business online for them. And the interesting piece was that we designed for a very diverse persona ranging from teenagers to senior citizens, posting advertisements in more than 80 categories and more than hundreds of edition by editing, posting, and then tracking the newspaper advertisements on an app, and all that in less than 2 minutes. So that was an incredible year-long exercise that we did with that company.
This sounds really exciting. So, I mean, booking an newspaper ad was such a cumbersome and painful experience, and you just mentioned that you could do that in couple of minutes. I think that was a very exciting thing.
Yes, Rohit, it is. It is indeed a very painful process because you have to go through agents, and then for each agent you have to keep following them up, whether your ad has been published, where it has been published, and sometimes there are errors. That is the worst nightmare to have. So digitizing it and having a digital transformation exercise around all this, it simplifies the process to a large extent.
Wow, super! I'm excited to hear about few more projects, Mohit.
Yes, right, certainly. So the other one that comes to my mind is an enterprise application. Let me take you to the other side of the world. We did this for a company in San Francisco, where we designed an advanced machine learning deployment platform that helps large businesses like airlines, sports, or e-commerce to make more data informed strategies. The complex piece here was that it was an immensely data heavy application with very complex user flows and a vast landscape to cover within a browser. Extending to complex charting, data visualizations, having a domain learning of that particular business, and a very very robust information design. That's what we did for that company.
Wow, Mohit, that sounds interesting. And what I'm enjoying on our conversation right now is the diversity of domains that you're going out and serving. You spoke about media, you spoke about this data-driven one. I've seen on your portal about healthcare. So many exciting different domains that you are actually going out and building solutions and contributing to. Would love to hear more. Over to you.
Yes, Rohit, indeed. I think the niche that in which we are operating and focusing only on design, that helps us to cut across domains. And as you rightly pointed out, healthcare. Let me mention a very interesting case study there. We helped a very large consumer company in India. The project was to research and design a very differentiated technology offering specifically for pregnant women in the Asia's largest slum, that is Dharavi in Mumbai. That was one of our very successful designs that got the attention of Stanford Innovation Magazine as well. This was to really help the women who live in those slums, pregnant women who live in those slums, to to leverage on technology and then have a very convenient journey through their pregnancy.
Wow, this sounds really interesting, Mohit. I'm sure it must have been an amazing experience actually building this unique solution for a very unique problem that I couldn't even anticipate.
Yes, Rohit. I think it was a great learning for us as well, because usually we don't end up doing just multiple iterations of a single design. You really understand the mindset of metro users, but when you interact with such a community and their limited knowledge of tech, it really made us think, and we had to iterate on our designs, and eventually we had to reach to a solution that really clicked with them. So it was a great learning for us as well, certainly.
Great. Mohit, there are very few companies that go out and set up their operations abroad. Wolffkraft has its operations in the United States of America as well. How does it help in being based out of the USA in serving your customers better?
Yes, Rohit. We had been operating in India for the initial 3 to 4 years. And after that, we took the decision of setting up a base in the United States as well. I think the main reasons for this is the first thing is that it's always easier and convenient for a business to interact with a provider in their corporate structure with their legal bindings in their local country. Secondly, as Wolffkraft puts equal emphasis on the quality of design minds that we offer, being global helps us interact easily with the global talent as well. Bringing in fresh perspectives, diverse cultures to the mix, and hence a very differentiated offering for the businesses. And lastly, I feel the sensitivity that the West has towards value of design and designers is still unmatchable. So overall, it is exciting, cost effective, and most importantly, it's very easy to do business with customers in the United States. So these are the things which drive us to do business there as well.
Wow, and I'm sure it must be a very different cultural experience in terms of serving the customers there, serving the customers in India. How is the journey different? Do you need to keep changing your India hat and US hat frequently?
Yes, Rohit, it's certainly a very different culture. Uh, I would say, from a design standpoint, unless you're designing for a very different set of users, it's not that different. But from a business standpoint, yes, you have to wear different hats because businesses in India have a very different mindset with design, and the businesses in US has a very different design mindset with respect to design.
I'm sure design has been an established practice in West since last couple of years and decades now. And while at India, it has been the same case as well. But I think we are seeing more action in that area from business point of view also in the last couple of years.
Yes, Rohit, indeed. I think India is catching up really fast, and we have some amazing design talent in India, and also equally, matchable businesses who wants to leverage the power of design. So I think we are catching up real fast, I would say.
Absolutely. And in fact, I also have another question in terms of the user experience services that you provide. In fact, user experience, Mohit, is an important aspect, especially for any digital platform or product. However, surprisingly, it is seen as an expensive investment by many early stage companies or startups as well. What is your view on this, and how can this bias that it is expensive be addressed? And it's more of an investment and not an expense, as a mindset can be brought in.
Yes, Ruth, I'm glad you asked this question. I personally don't think it's expensive if you look at the opportunity cost of not having a good user experience for your products and services. The rise in UX debt is incredibly difficult to get rid of once you accumulate it. So it's always best to have a UX strategy very, very early. And we have had case studies where we have got in touch with startups right from the MVP stage, and we have seen their growth versus startups who do not leverage design in that early stage. So we have substantial evidence that it works, and we have worked with many startups in our 5 years of existence. And here is my learning. Okay, so startups need an agile UX process. It has to be with a custom defined process, depending on their unique positioning and their roadmap. This brings design participation at a very cost effective way, and brands don't lose on quality design thinking in their businesses and products early on. A one-off activity is always seen as expensive proposition, but participating for a long-term roadmap, that is not very expensive. It also cuts on costs and adds a lot of value. And of course, all this is subject to interacting with the quality design team that understands design in and out. A die cut process of commoditized offering will always feel expensive because you're not getting the right ROI, uh, not just from the cost point of view, but also in the outcome that you generate based on those activities.
Absolutely, and couldn't agree more. As they say, that if design seems to be expensive to you, try ignoring it and you will discover how expensive that it could actually become. The question that I wish to ask you, what are some of the common user experience design or strategy mistakes that customers and clients land up making? And how can they be more mindful of this fact and avoid some of these common mistakes, which at times can land up being quite an expensive process?
Hey, Rohit, this can be a entire podcast in itself, I feel. But let me try to list down a few. The most common mistakes that I have come across in my journey of design entrepreneurship until now is, one, not investing very early into design, not having an open mind towards design and treating it as a one-off activity, not questioning designers on their design and getting carried away by only the visuals or maybe only the UI, if you may say that. Not having a mindset, not having a design mindset in the solutioning or the product definition stages. Again, that's like having design early on. Treating design as a commodity and designers as a pair of hands. This is the most rampant one because we all can think creatively, and then there are a lot of biases that kicks in, and you just get carried away in that direction without even knowing that you're going. The other one could be not using design as a cohesive strategy and focusing on areas in silos. That's also one of the most rampant one, where you individually look at something but you don't look at the bigger picture together. So these are some common ones that I have seen in my career.
Wow, absolutely well said, and a very, very important way for customers to be cognizant of this fact, to be conscious about these mistakes and not make them. And while you keep listening to our audience ask segment separately with our guest on our social media channels, we will do a rapid fire segment with Mohit Yadav right now, right here. So, Mohit, are you ready for our rapid fire segment?
Bring it on, Rohit.
Superb. Mohit, so here is my first one. Define user experience for your customers.
User experience is how your customers feel and how they remember the interaction with your business, product, or brand. A good user experience is when most users won't have a definite answer as to why, but they will choose you over and over again for their needs.
Wow, that is interesting. My next one. User experience is expensive, but
Not designing a user experience is ultra expensive and has the power of putting you out of business.
that's a smart one. My next one. As a customer, a must see item in an agency proposal for user experience designing is.
It is how well they understand the problem that is to be solved using design.
Wow, super. My next one, as a client, what can I expect as a first question from you for a design solution?
Okay, so I use this for qualify my clients. The question is, what is your understanding of design and what is the outcome you are seeking?
Interesting. And here is my last one. I will be glad to do business with Wolffkraft because.
I will be glad to do business with Wolffkraft because they don't ask us what is to be designed, but they lead us showing the way as to what is to be designed, by means of which we will not just get high quality designs, but also learn a lot about design in the process.
Wow, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Mohit, for doing this the entire month with us. I'm sure that there's a lot of takeaway, for our listeners. I'm sure that there are potential customers listening to this show and they will definitely connect with you. Mohit, would you like to again, share your website address for their reference, please?
Thanks, Ruth. And yes, the website is www.wolfcraft.com. That's WOLFFKRAFT.com.
Thank you so much, Mohit. It was a pleasure connecting with you. You could also reach out to our social network handles, and we'll be happy to connect with Mohit and his team. Thank you so much for joining us again on this show, Mohit.
Likewise, Rohit, thank you so much for inviting me over to this. It was lovely chatting with you. Thank you.
Hey there, thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed our show. Do write to us at mds@mit.edu.in. We look forward to your opinions, feedbacks, and suggestions of speakers you would like us to host on this show. You can also connect with us on our Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter handles to get regular updates regarding new episodes and speakers. Do tune in to our channel next Wednesday for a new story on your favorite audio streaming platforms.